I also quite like the way this verse ends with her, myself, who did this. That almost makes sense. I'm seeing myself, the one who did this. But then the verse changes and becomes a question. Who did this? To me. It's like she's denying it. It's like for a minute she looks in the mirror and she says, it's me, I've done this to myself, I chose to grieve, I chose not to move on. But then denial kicks in. Denial ain't just a river. Denial kicks in and she goes, it isn't me, I didn't do it, somebody did this to me. She's a perfect victim. Puce curses. Now puce is a colour. It's a kind of really kind of hot pink, like a really deep red, and as we know, red often suggests anger and kind of frustration and strong passion. I quite like to think of it as something else. She's curses, so she's cursing his name. Now imagine that she's really angry and she's screaming. Ah! Face is red, puce. Aha! Puce curses. She's so furious, the red, the feeling of anger and rage is puce. Her fury building up. Puce curses. That are sounds, not words. It's like when you get so angry, so furious, that you're no longer even forming proper words. Like the other day I accidentally dropped one of my records and I accidentally scratched it. I was furious and I was cursing the record and the man. You Swedish record falling on the floor! So actually, when you're really angry, the words break down. And she's so furious and so angry that actually words are falling apart. And we'll see that at the end when it comes to breaks. It's this idea that she's so angry that everything is decaying. Everything is falling apart. She's unable to speak clearly, think clearly. Everything is decaying. Some nights, she says, better. The lost body over me. Notice how this is the first time, again, but there'll be more, that she refers to him as a corpse. Again, well, actually, the second time she said wished him dead, but now it's a body, describing him as a dead body. The lost body over me. My fluent tongue, bit rude this bit, boys and girls. My fluent tongue, fluent as in fluent language, so her skilled tongue, in its mouth, in its ear, and then down till suddenly bite awake. Now, you can read whatever you like into this slightly necrophilic bit of writing, but the point here is what's happening. Remember that idea of oxymoron? That it's something really kind of good, like beloved, with something horrible, bastard. Love and hate. And you'll see it here, the kissing, the tongue in its ear, not his, interestingly, it's the body, he's stopped being alive, stopped being a person to her, now he's just a kind of dead object of hatred. But this starts off with love, affection, and then hate, that gesture of first love and then anger. First amorousness and affection, and then revenge. If you needed any more proof of oxymorons and that contrast between the two, the verse ends with the isolated word loves and then cut, hate. Oxymoron. When you think about Havisham, think about oxymorons. Because I've just behaved like a moron while teaching it to you, you can think oxymoron. Because I'm breathing oxygen and I'm being a moron. Therefore, oxygen moron, oxymoron. Maybe that'll help. Hate behind a white veil. You know, you think about when the bride's getting married and she's wearing the veil, and you know, it's kind of like, do you kiss the bride? You imagine this beautiful woman underneath the veil, but here you've got something quite frightening. You know, the veil is lifted during the ceremony, and you've got this angry woman underneath. It's like a kind of a parody of the wedding ceremony. A red balloon. I don't quite know what she was thinking about red balloons. Strange Carol Duffy line, but this red balloon again from Puce Curses, this red balloon bursting in her face. You have these party balloons, but they're banging, you know, popping in front of her face, like the veins bursting in her ears, you know, something like that in a temple. In my face, bang! I stabbed at a wedding cake. Now, that's a really interesting image, because normally when you cut a wedding cake, you bring the knife down and it goes down like this. You're holding the knife like this to cut the cake. And cutting the cake is the start of your life together. However, she's stabbing the wedding cake, a completely different motion. Holding the knife like this and bringing it down, stabbing. Once again, it's like the wedding ceremony has become this sort of focus of her hatred, and she wants to take everything good about it and make it this evil and cruel revenge. Give me a male corpse for a long, slow honeymoon. Long, slow honeymoon, again you're thinking a bit naughty really, lust and love, but male corpse. It's that whole kind of oxymoron. Don't think it's only the heart that breaks. It's her entire life decaying and breaking. And the fact that she loves this man, but also hates him so very much, creates an oxymoron that has made her life and her world stop making sense.